ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा साक्षात् गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभुवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमथास्य शिष्यम् श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यम् तं तोटकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपार करुणा सिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। यत्कृपालेशमात्रेण पुमान् पूर्णः प्रजायते तं वन्दे ब्रह्मभिद्दुर्यं सद्गुरुं चन्द्रशेखरम्। संसारसागरनिमग्नजनोदिदीर्षुः यो वातरच्छिवनृसिंहगुरुच्छलेन व्याढ्यान्धकारहरणं करुणासमुद्रम् तं दक्षिणास्य मनिशं हृदि भावयामि। तदात्मध्याननिरतं विषयेभ्यः पराङ्मुखम् नौमि शास्त्रेषु निष्णातं चन्द्रशेखरभारतीम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्तगोचरं तमगोचरम्
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्।
आदौ नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः परिगण्यते
आदौ नित्यवस्तुविवेकः परिगण्यते।
इहामुत्रफलभोगविरागस्तदनन्तरम्
इहामुत्रफलविरागस्तदनन्तरम्
शमादिषट्कसम्पत्तिर्मुमुक्षुत्वमिति स्फुटम्
क्षमादेशक्तसम्पत्तिर्मुमुक्षुत्वम् इति स्फुटम्
ब्रह्म सत्यं जगन्मित्येत् एवं रूपो विनिश्चयः
ब्रह्म
ब्रह्म
सत्यं
सत्यं
एवं रूपो विनिश्चयः
जगन्मित्येवोपनिश्चयः
सोऽयं नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः समुदाहृतः
सोऽयं
नित्यानित्यवस्तु
नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः समुदाहृतः
विवेकसमुदाहृतः
तद्वैराग्यं जुगुप्साया दर्शनश्रवणादिभिः
तद्वैराग्यं
तद्वैराग्यं जुगुप्साय दर्शनश्रवणादिभिः
दर्शनादिभिः
देहादिब्रह्मपर्यन्ते ह्यनित्ये भोग्यवस्तुनि
देहादि ब्रह्मपर्यन्ते
ब्रह्मपर्यन्ते
नित्ये
यन्ते भोग्यवस्तुनि
भोग्यवस्तुनि
विषयो विरज्य विषयो भ्राता दोषदृष्ट्या मुहुर्मुहुः
विरज्य विषयभ्राता
विरज्यभ्राता
दोषदृष्ट्या
दोषद्रष्ट्या मुहुर्मुहुः
मुहुर्मुहुः
स्वलक्ष्ये नियतावस्था मनसः शम उच्यते
स्वलक्ष्ये
स्वलक्ष्ये
नियता
नियतावस्था मनसः
अवस्था
शम
मनसः
उच्यते
शमोच्यते
विषयेभ्यः परावर्त्य स्थापनं स्वस्वगोलके
विषयेभ्यः परावर्त्य स्थापनं स्वस्वगोलके
उभयेषामिन्द्रियाणां सदमः परिकीर्तितः
उभयेषामिन्द्रियाणां सदमः परिकीर्तितः
आदौ नित्यानित्य वस्तुविवेकः तदनन्तरं विरागः विरागात् शमः जायते शमः कः मनोनिग्रहः शमः दमः कः इन्द्रिय निग्रह दमः विरज्य विषयव्रातात् दोष दृष्ट्या मुहुर्मुहुः स्वस्य लक्ष्ये या नियतावस्था सः नियतावस्था सा मनसः शमः इति उच्यते विषय विरज्य इत्युक्ते विरागेन विरागात् शमः जायते शमः इत्युक्ते मनोनिग्रहः मास्टरी ओवर माइंड इज शम दमः कः विषयेभ्यः परावर्त्य उभयेषाम् इन्द्रियाणां कर्मेन्द्रियाणां ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणां च स्थापनं स्वस्वगोलके स्वस्मिन् स्थाने गोलके तत्र एव स्थापनम् इत्युक्ते बहिर्मुख यानि इन्द्रियाणि बहिर्मुखानि भवति तानि स्वस्वगोलके स्थापनं सः दमः mastery over sense organs. Mastery over sense organs is damaha. This was the last shloka which we saw. Among the fourfold qualification, the third one, which has got six, among that also shamaha and damaha. We saw. We use the word mastery over, not control. Control is something like whipping the sense organs, whipping the mind. There is no whipping the mind. Mind is a tool. No need to whip it. Similarly, sense organs are just the reporters. They present the data as they receive it. They are not the culprits. So therefore, there is no point in whipping the sense organs. They are just reporters. Report the sense Vishayas objects very faithfully. It is the Jiva who colors, who makes it, who makes the Vishayas or who classifies the Vishayas as Raga and Dvesha. So therefore, therefore we use the word mastery over managing the management of the mind, management of sense organs. That would be a proper translation. Unless the mind is mastered, unless the sense organs are mastered, there is no question of chitta samadhanam, and therefore there is no possibility of jnanam rising in the mind. Jnanam can rise only in the mind which is tranquil, calm, peaceful, not agitated, which has got vairagya, that is the mind having withdrawn from the Vishayas because of vairagya, that mind alone. Otherwise, paranchikani, Vedana Swayambhu, the sense organs, along with the mind, they have the tendency, natural tendency to go out, to extrovert. Extrovertedness is a natural tendency. So that distracts the mind from the goal, and therefore the person slips from the spiritual path, from the goal, from the lakshya, which is moksha. Therefore, there is the necessity, there is a requirement on the part of the sadhaka in the beginning stage of life to manage the mind and the sense organs. And later it becomes natural. The mind which is tamed, as in the sense organs and the mind which is tamed, compared to a beautiful imagery, Ratha imagery, chariot imagery. Atmanam Rathinam Vidhi. Shariram Ratamevatu. Buddhim to Saratam Vidhi Manaf Pragrahamevacha. Acharya quotes aptly. And this is quite natural and logical also. This mantra which occurs in Kathopanishad. Unless this mantra is quoted, the explanation of this terms will be incomplete. Kathopanishad, Yamadharmaraja beautifully, with the help of the chariot imagery, presents how the mind which is controlled takes a person forward in its spiritual journey, and compares the mind to the buddhi, the mind, buddhi to the sarathi, and the mind is the reins. So indriyas are compared to the horses, and indriyas treading for pursuing the roads. The roads are compared to the Vishayas. If they are not well trained, then the chariot, along with the Ratha Swami, the master, will collapse. So, therefore, similarly, in this pursuit of moksha Vishaya also, unless a person who is endowed with these qualities, mastery over mind and sense organs, you can't make it, you can't achieve the goal. Yasta vijnanavan bhavati, yuktena manasa sada, tasyendriyani vashyani, tadashva iva saratehe. Kathopanishad only. That person is vijnanavan. He would be a jnani who is endowed with the mind. Yuktena manasa sada, endowed with the mind and the indriyas, which are vashyani, which are in vasha, under his vasha, under his control. Yasta vijnanavan bhavati amanaska sada shutihi. Nasat tat padamapnoti samsaram cha adhigacchati. That person is avijnanavan. You will not know he is an ajnani whose mind is not under his vasha, and also therefore sense organs also. And therefore saha tatpadam is Vishnu padam, Brahma padam na apnoti. On the contrary, samsaram cha adhigacchati. You will perpetuate in samsara. Yastu vijnanavan bhavati samanaska sadashuddhi satu tatpadam apnoti yasmat bhuyo na jayate. In Kathoparishad, in fact, the first Prathama Adhyayasya Tritiya Avalya, the first 10 mantras only this about this chariot imagery, about this mind management and sense organs management, which is absolutely essential. Therefore, having talked about that in sequence, so one after the other, one is the Karanam, other one is the Karya, one is the Hetu, other one is Hetuvat. Now the next one among the Shatka Sampati is Uparatihi. That Acharya defines Uparati has got many meanings. Uparati can mean sannyasa. Uparati can mean swadharma anushtanam. Here, let's see what Acharya defines. Uparati. Damarupa Bhagirindriya Nigraha Sadhyam Uparatim Aha Bhagya Iti. Damarupa Bhagirindriya Nigraha. Nigraha is holding withdrawal. Withdrawing the sense organs, Bhagya Indriyani, Bhagirindriya. Antarindriyam Manaha. Bhagya Indriyam, Bhagya Indriyani, Shotra, Toke, Chakshu, Rasana, Grana, Iti, Ityadini, Bhagya Indriyani. Indriyanam Nigraha. Tena Sadhyam. That by Dhamma is achieved. What Uparati? And what is that Uparati? Acharya defines Bhagya iti. Bhagya nalambanam vrittehe eshaha uparatihi uttama. Okay, I'll do it again. This is the form of Shloka, but Bhagya nalambanam vritteresho parateruttama.
वाह्यानालम्बनं वृत्तेः
तेरेषो परदुत्तमा
उत्तमाम्
So vrittehe Bhagya Analambanam. Alambanam na alambanam, analambanam. Alambanam is support. Alambanam, analambanam. So vrittehe Bhagya Analambanam Esha Uparatihi Uttama. So Uparati defined as Vrittehe Bhagya Analambanam. That is the mind and sense organs which are withdrawn. Bhagya Indriya Nigraha Damaha. Mano Nigraha Shamaha. So therefore the sense organs and the mind which are withdrawn, that they are retained as such. That is Dhamma when it is maintained. Sense organs, withdrawing of the sense organs. So retaining the sense organs so that it doesn't go away, doesn't become external, doesn't go away. That is what is Uparatihi. Bhagya Vishaya Analambanam. Not taking recourse to Bhagya Vishayas. Bhagya Vastu, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Okay, let it go. What will happen? Let them go. Then because of Purva, Vasana, and also because of the objects, there may arise a desires for enjoying them, and therefore the person may engage in karma. So therefore, if that becomes sakama karma, kamya karma. In fact, a mumukshu should reduce kamya karma, desire prompted activities, and must completely avoid nishiddha karma. A mumukshu is supposed to be a karma yogi, ishkama karmi, ishkama karma. So therefore, these sense organs, when they are not retained, when they are not kept in the withdrawn state, then it may go out and may create new samskaras, and like I said in Gita, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho vijayate krodat bhavati sammogaha sammogat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshat buddhi nashaha, then buddhi nashat pranashyati. Pranashyati means he slips from the spiritual path, not physical distraction. But all these things may happen. Therefore, retain his sense organs so that it doesn't move away from its goal. So therefore, that is called uparatihi. Vrittehe. Vrittehe means vritti has got many meanings. Here, vrittehe, we can take the functioning, the functions of these sense organs and the mind. So therefore, bhagyanalambanam, not going towards the external sense objects again. During Dhamma, the mind which is the sense organ which are withdrawn, they are retained as such. That is called uparatihi. That is the definition Acharya gives here. Swadharma Anushtanam also it is there. Another definition is sannyasa also. It has got the meaning of sannyasa. But in Tattvabodha we saw many definitions, four definitions. So bhagya analambanam vrittehe yesha, it is reading for yesha uparatihi. Uparatihi, the word is derived from ram dhatu, but only the word Rama comes from. Ram dhatu, Srilinge, tin pratyaya, ratihi, upasarga, uparatihi. Like Ari Shabda, Mati Shabda. Not Ari, Mati Shabda. You can decline uparatihi, ratihi, uparatihi, gatihi. Yesha uparatihi uttama. It is one of the important sadhanam. Therefore, uttama it is. Then the Yakyanam. तटाकोदकस्य तटाकछिद्रद्वारा निर्गत्य यथा क्षेत्राध्यात्मना परिणामः एवं अंतस्थ मनसः श्रोत्रादिच्छिद्रद्वारा बहिः आगत्य शब्दादि विषयाकारेण परिणामरूपा वृत्तिः जायते. Acharya, he says, tataka udakasya, tataka chidra dvara. This is similar to the Dakshinamurti stotram, the fourth shloka. Na chidra gato darastitamaha. Only that example, that alone. But other things are different. There it is Mahadeepa Prabhavaswaram. Jnanam yasyato chakshuradhikarana dvara bhagispandate. That part is only this Nana Chidra Gataha. Here Gataha is not used, Tataka is used. That the Drishtanta is common. Drishtanta, the example is here Tataka Udaka. Udaka is water. tato kadas sandhi. Tatakasya udakaha, waters of a tataka. Tataka is pond. There is a road in Coimbatore, Tadagam, which is nothing but Tataka. In Tamil, Tadagam, Sanskritam, Tataka. So Tatako Tatakasya Udaka. Udaka is water. The water in a Tataka, in a pond, pond, in a pond, Tataka Chidra Dwara. Tataka, the pond has got the Chidra holes. Holes means not means the water flows from the Tataka. There are some outlets are there. Exit Dwara Nirgatya. What Nirgatya? Jalam Nirgatya. Kutra Gacchati Jalam Kshetradi. Kshetradhyatmana Parinamaha. It flows towards the Kshetra, towards the fields, agricultural fields, and they flow through the fields. Similarly, as the water from the pond through its exit points, they flow towards the fields. Similarly, that is a parinama, that is a change happen, and it is wets the land, agricultural fields. The water is used for irrigation. It goes similarly. Evam antas antastasya manasaha antakaranam antarindriyam. Therefore, ante tishtati. Mind is not bhagya. It is antaha. Therefore, antastasya ante tishtati iti antastaha. That which is inside. Inside the sharira. Inside of what? Inside, outside, when we say with regard to some reference, the reference is body. So with body is the reference. With regard to the body, it is santaha, mind. Antastasya manasaha, manasaha shashti bhakti. Antastasya manasaha, antastaha manaha, antastasya manasaha. Similarly, mind also. Shrotradi chidra dwara, as the water, the pond has got outlet. Similarly, body is also, similarly, the mind also. Your mind is compared to the pond. It has also its outlets, exit points, like Shrotra, ear, nose, eyes, tongue, touch, by those sense organs. They are the Chidra Dwara, they are the outlets through which Bagihi Agatya, they go out, they come out. And as the water takes the form of the kshetra, the land, they fill up. The water is absorbed and therefore take the shape of the land. Similarly, water take the shape of the container. Similarly, the sense organs which go out through the holes, and the holes are the sense organs. Therefore, they go out and they take the form of the sense objects, Shabda Adi Padat, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabda is sound, Sparsha is touch, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, form, Rasa, taste, Gandha, smell. Each sense organs, they operate in the respective fields. Therefore, 5 sense organs, they flow, they go out, and they take the form of the Vishayas, sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Akarena, Parinama, Rupa, that Vrittihi, the Parinama, that transformation, Vrittihi, that happens, Vrittihi Jayate, the mind, all the sense organs go out and then take the form of the objects, which are outside. Nigrigiteshu cha bagihi indriyeshu bagirindriyeshu antastamanaha na bhagyakarena parinamate iti bhavaha. When the nigrigiteshu bagirindriyeshu satsu sati saptavi. When the sense organs indriyani nigrigiteshu indriyeshu bagihi indriyeshu satsu. When the indriyas are withdrawn, nigrihita, restricted, then antastam manaha, the mind, which is ante tishtati, cannot take the form of the bhagya vishaya, the bhavaha, that is the meaning. The mind to the sense organs go out and take the form of the respective object, and that is what is reflected in the mind, and that is how the thought occurs in the mind. These are all technical things which we have discussed in Panchadashina, other text, but here we will not discuss. Just how do you perceive a pot? A pot is there, a gata is outside. The mind through the sense organs, they flow, they go out and they envelop the pot, and the pot which is enveloped by the vritti, when it is reflected in the antakarnam, which is like a mirror in which the chitta, the chaitanyam is obtained. There we get a reflection of the gata, and that which is illumined by Chaitanyam, then you get the knowledge of the pot. There is a pot. I perceive a pot. Similarly, with regard to other Vishayas also, therefore, mind taking the form of the Vishaya. That will not happen when the mind is withdrawn. Bhagya karena parinamate doesn't transform into the Bhagya Vastu, Bhagya Vishaya. That is what is called Uparatihi. Withdrawing the sense organs is not just for the sake of withdrawing, preventing the sense organs from functioning. Withdrawing the sense organs is for the purpose of not allowing the mind to take the form of the Vishayas, sense objects. Otherwise, the mind will entertain other thoughts other than the Atma Vishaya. Mind will entertain which is not conducive, which is not anukula for a sadhaka. Therefore, uparatihi. Then the next one is the series Shamaha, Damaha, Uparatihi. Next one, Titiksha, an important quality. Bhagavan Krishna he highlights in the Gita, just mentions Matra Sparshast Kaunte Yashito Shatukadukadaha Agamabaino Nityaha Tan Titikshasva Bharata Titikshasva. And technically also we know the word Titiksha, we saw Guptichkid son, that the sutra by this is derived. It is not Icharte son. It is the word itself is Titiksha in the meaning is in the form of Kshama, endurance. So Titiksha, the san pratyaya is used. We saw in the Vyakaran class. You can connect. So that is another important qualification, sadhanam, that one has to develop, gain Titiksha. Titiksha otherwise called Kshama, all are same. So Titiksha is the capacity to put up with pain, to put up with problems, both physically and mentally. That is Titiksha. The Titiksha is not there, then even not only in the Adhyatmika Vishaya, even other Vishaya, Laukika Vishaya also, one cannot accomplish anything. It's not only for a Vedantin, it's for everyone. Titiksha, patience, and putting up with pain, difficulties, with no grumbling, no murmuring. Swamiji used to say Munumunutta, therefore no murmuring, no complaining, just accepting. Resistance causes more pain, acceptance reduces the pain, therefore you will feel very light. So you don't lose your balance. Therefore, this is an important quality. What is the Let's see. Yada bhagyam na alambate chittam. Yada tada. You can see. So, chittam bhagyam na alambate. Yada tada शीतोष्णादि द्वन्द्वस्य अप्रतीयमानत्वात् कर्मकालादिवशात् तत् प्रसक्तौ अपि तत् सहनरूपा तितिक्षा सिद्ध्यति इति आह सहनम् इति यदा चित्तं भाग्यं न आलम्बते आलम्बनं mind न आलम्बते doesn't lean on the bhagya vishaya. Yada chittam, it means the mind is withdrawn. Tada, when the mind is prevented from having contact with the bhagya vishayas, that is bhagya external objects. When it is prevented. If it is not, then mind will take the form of the objects and therefore it will have raga, dvesha, all the pura vasana, samskaras, everything will be there. Therefore, naturally the mind will go out. It will take you for a big ride. Therefore, withdrawing the mind, managing the mind, withdrawing the mind. So when the mind is not made to have any association with the external vishayas, yada, when, tada, then what happens? The bhagya vishayas, they produce different experiences, sukha, dukkha, pleasure, pain, and shita, ushna. Shita is cold, ushna is heat. It could be a physical heat, or it may in the form of some vritti thoughts in your mind. It can put be shita and ushna. You get heated up. Sometimes you get mind gets boiled. So you say no. The expression also the expressions are there. So shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha. All these pairs of opposites. Apratiyamanatvat. These pairs of opposites will not arise because the mind is not associated with the bhagya vishayas because of uparati. Therefore, there will not be the experience of the pairs of opposites, Shita, Ushna, etc. All these are dvandva, pairs of opposites. Cold, an opposite of that is heat. It's called dvandva. Cold, heat, sukha, opposite dukkha. So apratiyamanatva, there will not be na pratiyate, apratiyamanatva, because of not pratiyate, it will not occur because of the absence of the experience of Shita, Ushna, etc. Because the mind is not connected to the Bhagya Vishayas. Therefore, apratiyamanatvat na pratiyate Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha Dinam Shitoshna Sukha Dinam the Shitoshnadi Dvandvasya Dvandvanam the Anubhavaha, the experience of all this, na pratiyate, because the mind is not connected to the Vishayas, yada, when tada, then karma kaladi vashat, because of karma, one's own karma, prarabdha karma, or time kaladi vashat, tat prasakta api, even if it occurs for a person, because due to karma, or due to karma kaladi time, his prarabdha, his karma is therefore even if they prati yante, this shitoshnadi sukha dukkha अनुभवः प्रतीयन्ते बुद्धौ तथापि प्रसक्तौ अपि तत्सहनरूपा तितिक्षा, putting up with them, putting up with the Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, all these pairs of opposites, even if it occurs for a person due to his karma, prarabdha karma. The karma is prarabdha karma because of his past action. He's supposed to experience all these things. Suppose if it is there, or kala time, vashat. Human beings are helpless with regard to karma, kala, etc. Other factors. So they are helplessly made to face. So then the Sitoshna, the Anubhava will happen, even though the mind is not having association with sense object because of this karma, etc. If this Anubhava happens for a person, then a person what should he do? He should put up with all those things. Therefore, Tat Sahana Rupa, putting up with enduring those experiences, that is what is called Tiksha. Tiksha Siddhyati iti haha Sahanam iti, putting up with this pair of opposites, in spite of mind not having association with these sense objects. That is what titiksha is. An acharya defines what titiksha is. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam.
Anam sarva dukkhanam apratikaraपूर्वकम्
Chinta vilaparakitam sa titiksha nigadyate.
चिन्ताविलापरहितं सात्वितिक्षा निगद्यते.
We are in the 25th shloka. So all these shlokas, it's good to memorize. It will create good. It is good to memorize, and shlokas are simple and important shlokas. And memorizing the shlokas also help us to have good samskaras. Swamiji insists to memorize these Vivekachudamani as many shlokas as possible. More than 500 shlokas, 555 something around. Even if he can memorize up the 108 important shlokas or as much as possible, it is good. So this is the definition. Sarvanam sarvadukkanam sahanam. The dukkha can be caused due to adhyatmika or adibhautika or adidevika. Possible. That is why we say Shantihi 3 times. Tapatraya Shamanartham, Trivaram Shantihi, Adhyatmika Shantihi, Adidevika Shantihi, Adibhautika Shantihi, Adidevika Shantihi. So dukkha can come from oneself. One could be a cause of the dukkha Adhyatmika, or from the Adibhautika, from the external sources, or from Adidevika, from the Deva, which is invisible, not seen due to some unknown causes. Also dukkha can come, pain can come. So, therefore, there are 3 sources of pain, and the sources are many, varied. Therefore, it's all around. So, therefore, what control or what resistance we have for dukkha? One cannot resist; it is inevitable. Therefore, sahanam sarva dukkhana, one has to put up with, one has to endure. One has to endure with all types of pain. Jaranam is there, maranam is there. Jaranam is there, then Vyadi also is there. Adi Vyadi. Physical disease and mental disease. So many even if physical disease is not there, so many different mental disorders are there. New terms we hear every day. So physical disorder, mental disorder, physical problem. Therefore, Adi Vyadi. Adi Vyadi Hara Anjaneya. That Anjaneya temple is there in Chennai, in Nanganallur. It's called Adi Vyadi Hara Anjaneya. One who removes Adi Vyadi, both the mental diseases as well as physical diseases. Hara Anjaneya is called, that Anjaneya is the name of that Hanuman. Adi Vyadi Hara Anjaneya. Therefore, the source of pain are many. Therefore, it is impossible not to face it. Therefore, what to do? Sahanam. There is no other way. One has to put up with Sagaram Sarvadukkanam. In summer, there is heat. nothing can be done. That causes pain. That which causes pain, the heat for us, as it causes so much pain, the difficulties. For the people in US, the cold causes, the winter causes so much pain. Therefore, extreme. Shita and Ushna, that is a dvandva. They are the causes of pain. What could be done? Nothing can be done. One has to put up with that. Or put up with means or one has to equip oneself with, if possible. So with proper suit or something. That is saganam. In spite of that, it is that nothing can be done. One has to endure. Putting up with sagam sarvadukhanam. Apratikara, that is another important. First thing is, three things are talked about with regard to titiksha. Sarvadukhanam sahanam. Then apratikara purvakam. Pratikara is tit for tat, taking revenge. Pratikara purvakam. So if the person hurts me, then I give him back. I give him back the same way. So that is pratikara. Apratikara purvakam, not preceded by. That pratiksha should not be preceded by the revenge, hatred. So apratikara purvakam, that talks about the attitude. So not having hatred or revenge, that attitude, that is apratikara purvakam. So putting up with, because you are not able to do anything, therefore you are putting up with due to your inability, that is not itiksha. Not entertaining revenge, that revenge attitude, that revengeful attitude or hatred, that is apratikara purvakam. So that shows that you are sattvika. If you are rajasika, then immediate reaction would be pratikara. So from being a tamasika, one has to grow to be a rajasika purusha, from rajasika to sattvika, and finally that sattvikam also is bondage, as we saw in Gita. All the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, the three gunas bind a person. Therefore, from being a sattvika, one has to grow to be a gunatita. So apratikara purvakam shows that the person is a sattvika purushaha, sattva pradhana purushaha. Sattva pradhana purusha is what is called brahmanaha, I think. That person is eligible for Brahma Jnanam. Because if hatred is there, the mind is not available for Shravanam, Shastra Shravanam. All the time you will be contemplating on that person, how to take revenge. Because there is, that in spite of Shravanam, there will be a deep current of this hatred for that person. Therefore, therefore the jnanam, whatever he receives, the words, whatever he hears and during Shravan, it will not convert into a paripakva jnanam, a matured knowledge. Therefore, these are all obstacles, pratibandha. As it's a value. Therefore, one has to be one should not entertain this attitude, that revengeful attitude, hatred. So apratikara purvakam. And chinta vilaparagitam, the third thing, titiksha. Chinta is worry, anxiety. And vilapa is lamenting, ragitam, without. So the person should not lament, should not worry. Chinta at the level of the mind. And vilapa is expression of that worry, lamenting, murmuring, complaining. So therefore, chinta, the dejection which is caused, the dejection, depression due to pain, and therefore that is expressed in the form of lamentation. That also should not be there. Chinta vilaparagitam. Just accepting, just be a bamboo. So that all this pass through, not disturb you. Chinta vilaparagitam. That's a great value. It's not easy. It's said easily, but difficult to follow, but has to follow. It's all values. the 20 spiritual values which Bhagavan teaches in the 13th chapter of the Gita and calls it jnanam, the knowledge, the presence of which knowledge has to happen. In fact, that is what here also we saw. It's sattva, it's sattva. It's sattva, in the presence of which, in the presence of sadhana chatushtaya sampatti alone, jnanam will happen, as we saw before. In Vivekachudamani itself is, we saw the Bhashika, Shankaracharya says, Yeshu satsu eva sannishta yadabhave na siddhyati. Same thing. So therefore, chinta vilaparagitam, ragitam without. So that is what is called titiksha. Titisha iti nigadyate, gadadatu, gadati, gadataha, gadanti, nigadyate, karmani prayoga. Sa titiksha nigadyate. That is what is titiksha, is what sakaram sarvadukkanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparagitam. Apratikara purvakam, that word should come first. Apratikara purvakam sarvadukkanam sakaram chinta vilaparagitam, that can be put next second. Apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparagitam sarvadukkanam sahanam titiksha iti nigadyate. That is what titiksha is. Endurance, forbearance, otherwise called kshamaha in Sanskritam. Acharya says here in Vyakyanam, Kambala Vyajanadibihi Shaityaushnyadi Dukkha Pratikaraha Lokasiddhaha. Kambala is blanket, kambal, which we use during cold season, winter season. And Vyajana fan, of course, we use now in hot summer in Chennai. Shaitya Aushnyam. Shaitya is cold. Aushnyam, both are Tadita. Shita becomes Shaitya and Ushna becomes Aushnya. Adi Dukkha Pratikaraha Lokasiddhaha. Dukkha Pratikaraha. This is Loka Prasidha. This is well known in the Loka. That is, we use Kambala and Vyajana. Kambala during cold, Shaitya, Pratikaraha. That is the Pratikaraha we face, we use, and similarly for Aushnyam, we use Vyajana, the fan. That is Loka Prasiddhaha. That is Loka Prasiddhaha. The heat and the cold are handled with fan and kambal, etc. Tadrisha samagri avave. Suppose when it is not there, when you don't have kambala in the season, in December, November in Rishikesh, then what you will have? Similarly, when you don't have Vyajanam, not AC, air conditioning, Vyajanam fan itself is not there in the hot summer, in Agni Nakshatra in Chennai. Tadrishi samagri avave, in the absence of which, kim अस्माभिः दीनैः करणीयम् इति चिन्ता प्रलापश्च. Asmabihi, buyers who are dina, not poor people. When these samagris are there, when these things are not there, people are there who are poor people, they have to put up with living on the streets or even in small houses. They don't have all these things. Dina ki kim karaniyam iti. We are dina, we are poor, not affordable. Therefore, what to do iti. Even otherwise also, when you go to a place, it's not there. So that in that condition, you are poor only. Even though you may have money in your pocket, but the place you don't, and that place you don't have it. Therefore, Dinagi Kim Karanim, what to do, iti, that worry, the anxiety, the chinta, worry, and that expressed in the form of lamentation, murmuring, that is called chinta, pralapaha, vilapaha. Vichara sadhana titikshaya tatatam vyavartayati apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparagitam iti sakaranta titiksha iti. Vichara sadhana titikshaya tatatvam. Similarly, vichara sadhana. Vichara sadhana, dharma vichara sadhana, atma vichara sadhana. That titikshayaha, similarly, titikshayaha tatatvam vyavartayati acharya vyavartayati. Similarly, it distinguishes the titiksha, which is sadhanam, qualification required for atma vichara. That should be apratikara purvakam, should be preceded by apratikara. There is no retaliation. Pratikara, retaliation. Apratikara purvakam and chinta, devoid of worry and lamentation. Therefore, without that, ets saganam, putting up with, is what is called titiksha. So, as it is in the case of Shita, Ushna, etc., how do we handle this? How should we handle? When it cannot be avoided, should be endured. We say it's easy, but they have to. There's no other way. Because there is no acceptance, therefore lamentation. If you accept, then there will not be lamentation. The acceptance, the resistance causes pain, more pain at the mental level as well as physical level. Non-resistance, resist not, then you will not have pain, both at the physical and mental level. Just accepting, even if there is, see, there are so many things, so many problems in life, but all the problems do not affect. One problem which is that alone will come, will affect, will seem to be a big problem. For a person who doesn't have any problem, or everything is fine, a small mosquito can be a problem. So it is not the problem it is counted, it is your mind, how it treats the problem, how it sees the problem. That is what is counted. So therefore, the resistance of the mind is the cause. Therefore, don't resist. But it's quite natural. It's a value to be developed. Our body, the body is from the toe to the top of the head. We have got the sensation all over. A small mosquito bite or hand bite that causes serious pain in particular area for us. Even though it is very small, but our mind is so much engrossed in that. So, in fact, it is engrossed. In all other parts are also bitten by something else. Then that mind will not be focused on that because all other parts are at comfort level, and this part is not at the comfort level. Therefore, the mind is focused on that part. So, therefore, it shows that comfort. So one has to be ready to put up with discomfort. Sometimes it is voluntary done to develop titiksha, like tapas, etc. So putting oneself to some discomfort and developing this endurance capacity. So it's a capacity. How soldiers they put up with pain, difficulty, and that too when they are caught by the enemies. As they are trained, same training is required. Same means similar training is required in the field for a mumukshu also. So that is the highlight. So training oneself, putting up with. So therefore that is titiksha. It's sahanam. And here we are talking about putting up with that which cannot be avoided. That which can be avoided can be avoided. Which can be handled should be handled. But that which cannot be handled, over which we don't have any control, then we have to silently endure. Silently, not murmuring, not retaliating, not vilapa, no lamentation. That is what titiksha is. Dukkhanam dukkha hetu shitoshnadinam ityartaha. The word dukkhanam is there. Acharya says dukkha hetu. Dukkhanam is the cause of dukkha. Like Shita, Ushna, all the pairs of opposites, these are the cause of dukkha. Therefore, Sahanam, putting up with them. Chinta vilapadi sagitasya manasaha vicharasya durapas दूरापास्तत्वात् इति भावः. Chinta vilapa ragitam. That mind which is free from the chinta and vilapa. But here, Acharya says, Chinta vilapa is sagitasya, the mind which is with chinta, worry, and anxiety and vilapa. That mind is vicharasya. For vichara, it is from vichara, it is far away. Dura, dura apastatvam tasmat iti bhavaha. That mind, durapasta is a shabda. Duram apastam, which is far away. Apastam. Durapastam, which is far away. As with the apa upasarga. Taprataya, apasta. Durapasta, that mind is far away. Durapastatvam, the status of being far away from the inquiry. Tasmat, because of what? Because of this, that is the mind which is with chinta and vilapa as the status of being free, being far away from inquiry into Atma. Therefore, Acharya says, Chinta Vilapa Ragitam iti the shloka. It is the Vyakhyanam. So, therefore, Shamaha, Damaha, Titiksha, Uparatihi, Titiksha. Then, next qualification, that is the fifth one among the third qualification is Shraddha. That Acharya says in the next shloka, 26th shloka, that we will see the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha.
धन्यवाद जी.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी.
धन्यवाद शरण जी.